Now, the government's launched a new drive to increase the diversity of the fire service. It's after the figures show that just 5.2% of firefighters are women, 3.9% are from an ethnic minority. Well, let's talk to Lucy Masoud from the London Fire Brigades Union, who is here. Good to see you this morning.
Thank you.
You're a rarity then. You're a rarity in the fire service. Why is that?
I've got all the flags, haven't I? I'm a woman, I'm an ethnic, I'm a gay.
You're ticking all the boxes.
I am, yes. I'm not sure, really. I mean, I think it's, it's one of the best jobs in the world, and I would encourage anyone who has an interest in the fire service to join. But I think there's three main reasons I believe that women and BME people are less inclined to. First one is just the image of a firefighter. We constantly see it as a male, constantly hearing even mainstream media still now today refer to firefighters as firemen. I know our commissioner in London, Danny Cotton, has started a campaign to rid the fire service of sexism and sexist language when it comes to firefighter versus fireman. Also, we see a lot less people applying to be firefighters. Now, when I joined back in 2006, the number of people applying to be a firefighter in London was in the thousands, tens of thousands. Now it's in the hundreds. And I think that really is down to pay. The public sector firefighters have been on a public pay freeze and pay cap for the last 8 years. A competent firefighter in London is earning £13 an hour. It's very difficult to live on that wage in London, and that puts people off. It certainly puts off women joining the job. I mean,
we need to... it's a case of reminding people, isn't it, what an important job firefighters do. I mean, there's no two ways about it. And there is no argument, is there, that women are absolutely as capable and as competent as a man in doing that job. I mean, it's why it's difficult to understand why women don't feel as inclined to take up the profession.
You're absolutely right. Again, the image of a firefighter is a big sort of brusky, muscly, roughy-tufty man, and that's actually not the case. In order to be an effective firefighter, it's generally about technique. It's having dedication. It's wanting to help people. That's exactly why I joined the job. But when it comes to actually, helping people and working within the community, mainly it's about technique and also having that, people skills to be able to deal with people in the community.
So how do you change the image? Because I mean, you're quite right. You look back traditionally, and that image is ingrained of it being firemen out doing the job. It's very difficult to change such a long-established image, isn't it? I mean, that is going to take quite a long time.
Absolutely, and it sounds quite simplistic, but it is starting with things like firefighter, not fireman. And it is quite frustrating when, you're seeing mainstream media still using those terms. You're seeing, newspapers, journalists still saying fireman when they're referring to people going into burning buildings. That can be quite frustrating. It's also having female and BME firefighters very visual, so people can see that. In order for us to properly protect our community and members of the public, we need to represent them. But crucially, I think, especially when it comes to women in the fire service, it's all very well for the government to come out and say we want more women in the fire service and we want more women at fire stations. But in order to do that, you have to be able to properly accommodate them and have female-only facilities. Now, we're seeing across the country, you don't have that. You're having women who have to share facilities with their male colleagues. That can be very uncomfortable.
So changing rooms and toilets and all that sort of...
Absolutely, yeah. We're lucky enough in London. I think we're the only brigade in the country that has female accommodation and facilities on every single fire station. And even then, that's not enough. We have 300 firefighters in London, which is a tiny amount, and we cannot properly accommodate those 300 firefighters. So if the government do want women in the service and they're serious about it, they have to put their money where their mouth is and ensure that every fire station in the country has female-only accommodation. I've known women who have left the service because they didn't have female-only accommodation. They had to get changed in their car. They weren't comfortable showering and getting changed in front of their male colleagues. So, if we're serious about women in the fire service, we need to make these changes.
Well, look, that's a challenge thrown down to the government.